This video was intended to inform and educate the public.
A Jacksonville police officer could face life in prison if convicted of the charges he was arrested on in Nassau County.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video news story by The Junkyard News. You know, she thought dating a cop would be exciting, but once the fairy tale ended, that's when the nightmare truly began. This story comes out of Jacksonville, Florida, where a patrol officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office was arrested on charges of armed kidnapping, stalking, and death threats. Sheriff T.K. Waters said Officer Brian Housend was arrested by the Nassau County Sheriff's Office on Thursday. He is charged with 3 felonies that include armed kidnapping with a firearm, written threats to kill, and aggravated stalking. Now, the sheriff called the collection of charges very disturbing. Housend was originally hired by JSO back in 2005. At one point, the sheriff said Housend had left JSO to obtain his law degree. Now, over the course of his employment with JSO, Sheriff Waters said there was a few situations where he dealt with internal affairs, but it didn't rise to the level of termination. Thursday's charges stem from a relationship Housend had with a female, according to an arrest warrant from the Nassau County Sheriff's Office. According to the report, a Nassau County deputy had responded to a call from a woman on Tuesday after a dispute with Housend. The victim told the deputy she saw a green laser, which she believed to be the type equipped to a firearm, shining into a window in her home. Now, based on a series of ongoing threats she said she's received from Housend, she believed it to be him initiating the laser sight. Within one of the email exchanges, Housend and the victim discussed an incident where Housend is accused of actually taking a rifle out after an argument of a gun safe, after the victim accused him of hurting her. According to the police report, Housend did not deny this happened, but instead blamed the victim for calling internal affairs. Now, the woman told the Nassau officer the incident happened back in February, when Housend allegedly abused her when trying to take her cell phone from her. She told police that following the struggle, Housend grabbed the rifle out of the gun safe, an act she considered very threatening. Now, the report shows text messages were also exchanged between the two in May and June, where the victim pleaded with Housend to stop harassing her. However, the report states Housend continued reaching out to her via text, calls, and emails in a threatening and harassing manner. The woman told the Nassau County deputy Housend came to her house back on July 11th in his marked JSO patrol car, wearing his JSO uniform and with his JSO-issued firearm. Once there, the report states he began beating and banging on the back door. The victim, reluctantly, ended up letting Housend in to her home, where they did have a civil conversation that all of a sudden shifted into a threatening conversation, where Housend allegedly told the victim he'd do her in then and there if she didn't get back together with him. The report does also go on and list other instances of threats and harassing text messages sent to the woman. Housend has been suspended without pay by JSO, but will ultimately be fired, according to the sheriff. This is the 13th arrest by a JSO employee since the start of 2024.
A Jacksonville police officer could face life in prison if convicted of the charges he was arrested on in Nassau County.
So this evening, Sheriff T.K. Waters announced the arrest of Brian Housend. He's facing charges of armed kidnapping, stalking, and written threats to kill.
Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters stands at his podium to announce the arrest of yet another JSO officer, the 13th officer arrested this year. Brian Housend, a patrol officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, was arrested by the Nassau County Sheriff's Office Wednesday. He is charged with armed kidnapping, written threats to kill, and aggravated stalking. According to the arrest warrant from the Nassau County Sheriff's Office, on Tuesday, September 10th, Housend got into a dispute with a female victim. Later that same evening, she saw a green light shining in her window and believed it was a gun. The warrant says an investigation from Nassau County also revealed from May through August of this year, Housend sent threatening text messages and emails to this victim. Responses from the victim show her pleading with him to stop sending harassing texts. Reports show in one email the two discussed an incident from February when Housend allegedly abused the victim and grabbed a rifle out of a gun safe. In July, another incident occurred where Housend drove to the victim's home in his JSO uniform and patrol car, entered her home, and threatened her, telling her he'd kill her then and there if she didn't comply with his demands.
This is very unfortunate, very disturbing, and I'm just glad that we were able to take some action now. The Nassau County Sheriff's Office was able to take action now to make sure we got this person into custody and deal with the issues.
According to Sheriff Waters, Housend has been suspended and placed on leave without pay. Waters says he will be terminated. And according to the Nassau County Sheriff's Office inmate search, the suspect in custody tonight.
Now, one important thing to touch base on here is the risk of domestic incidents in police officer families, because it is a complex issue that has been studied, but exact statistics can be difficult to pinpoint. Due to union contracts and legal red tape, it's often hard to actually get an accurate measure of how many law enforcement officers end up committing some type of domestic abuse in their relationships. However, some research does suggest that the rate of domestic incidences among law enforcement families may be higher than the general population. Studies have indicated that anywhere between 25 to 40% of police families experience some type of domestic incident compared to around 10% in the general population. These numbers also can be underreported due to the stigma attached to police officers being involved in these type of incidences, fear of retaliation, or concerns about the impact of a spouse's career. Victims of abuse in law enforcement families may be reluctant to come forward, knowing the perpetrator's position within the justice system. But remember, there are different types of people that tend to lean towards a law enforcement career. People who do pursue careers in law enforcement often share certain personality traits, values, and motivations that draw them into the field. While each individual is unique and motivations can vary widely, there are some common characteristics and reasons people tend to lean towards a career in law enforcement, and it's not always in the positive. One example would be thrill-seeking and adventurous personality, like a person attracted to excitement. Law enforcement can be high-stakes, fast-paced job with varying levels of danger and unpredictability. People who enjoy an adrenaline rush or seek out excitement may be drawn to the profession for the challenges and dynamic nature of the work. But, of course, there's also authoritarian or control-oriented tendencies in people. For some, the idea of having authority over others and the ability to enforce laws can be very appealing. While some officers do use this responsibly, some may be drawn to the perceived power dynamic inherent in the role of being in law enforcement. People who lean towards law enforcement careers do tend to have a mix of values, such as a desire for public service, structure, adventure, and in some cases leadership. However, the appeal of the job can vary depending on the personal motivations, family background, and individual experiences. And while many individuals do join law enforcement for positive reasons such as a sense of duty or a desire to serve their community, there are also more dangerous motivations that can lead some people to pursue a career in law enforcement. These reasons can be harmful not only to the individual but also to the people they serve and their colleagues. Some of the worst or most dangerous reasons for wanting to become a police officer would include things like authority over others. Some individuals are attracted to the perceived power that comes with wearing a badge and carrying a weapon. They may seek a career in law enforcement to control or dominate others. These individuals may use their position to intimidate or coerce people, potentially abusing their authority for personal gain or satisfaction. This mindset can lead to corruption, misconduct, or excessive use of force on the public. Some people with aggressive tendencies or a predisposition towards violence might be drawn to law enforcement because of the job's potential for physical confrontation and the legal right to use force when necessary, and sometimes when not necessary. And then there's the opportunity to legally exercise force. Those with a desire to engage in physical altercations or to wield weapons may seek law enforcement as a way to legitimize their tendencies under the guise of enforcing the law. This can result in dangerous escalations during interactions with the public. Another reason could be the need for dominance in personal relationship, because some people have a controlling personality, and a person with controlling tendencies might be drawn to law enforcement as a way to extend this dynamic into their personal and professional relationships. This could lead to abusive behavior both at work and at home, particularly in domestic situations. There's also possessiveness and jealousy. An individual who struggles with possessiveness might use their position in law enforcement to monitor or control their spouse or partner, leading to abusive dynamics. And then there's others that have a desire for status or ego validation, like seeking respect or even fear. Yeah, some individuals may view a police career as a way to gain instant respect, admiration, or even fear from others, using their position as a way to boost their own ego. They may become overly focused on the authority and status of the job rather than serving the community. These individuals might adopt an exaggerated sense of self-importance, believing their role places them above others. This can lead to arrogant behavior, failure to admit mistakes, and a disregard for public accountability. I've read many comments where people have stated that they believe a lot of people that join law enforcement were bullied at a young age, which leads us to revenge and vendettas. Some people will join and may join law enforcement out of a desire for revenge against a specific group or even an individual. For example, someone who has had negative encounters with a particular group or person may seek to become a police officer in order to get back at them, which could lead to bias and unfair treatment. They may use their position to intimidate or harass others based on personal grudges, which is dangerous and an abuse of police power. Individuals with a desire to manipulate the system might use their influence to skew investigations, suppress evidence, or unfairly protect certain individuals, leading to miscarriages of justice. In conclusion, these motivations represent some of the most dangerous reasons for wanting to get into law enforcement. It's important for law enforcement agencies to thoroughly screen candidates for these traits and motivations to prevent individuals with harmful intentions from entering the law enforcement profession. Proper training, psychological evaluations, and ongoing accountability measures can help mitigate the risks posed by individuals with these dangerous motivations. In response to increased public demand for police accountability, many departments have raised their hiring standards to ensure officers are well suited for the challenges of modern policing. This means that potential recruits must meet higher physical and psychological and ethical criteria, which can shrink the pool of eligible applicants. Many law enforcement agencies are struggling with recruitment. Departments report fewer applicants, higher attrition rates, and difficulty retaining officers. Officers are now retiring early, resigning, or seeking other careers due to job dissatisfaction or safety concerns. Compared to the past, there is a clear shortage of people wanting to pursue careers in law enforcement today. As a result, law enforcement agencies are facing recruitment and retention challenges, and many are exploring ways to adapt, such as improving training, offering better pay and benefits, and emphasizing community-oriented policing. Be careful, people. Be really careful, or else the next video news story that we share on this channel, we could be talking about you in the next one.